They made lots of I was really shocked. And so those handles, it's almost like you're having to swing like a monkey. Grab one handle to the next, to the next, to the next, because it's going so fast. And then when you go to sit down in your seat, you just start leaning down and then you just fall back into it. And you're like, 안녕하세요. 미국에서 온 조나단입니다. 저는 한국에서 사는 지 3년 반 정도로 됐어요. Okay, so the first time that I really knew anything about Korea, I was actually in Hong Kong, and there was a concert that went on, and they had this girl band group come up, and I turned to my friend and I said, "Where are they from?" He said, "Oh, they're Korean." So I was like, "Oh, okay, cool." And then I got a lot more interested in Korea. First time that I really sort of thought about Korea or knew anything about Korea, I was, this was, a number of years ago. I was studying, and it was a Saturday night even, I was studying. But I had the radio playing, and it was like a Saturday night party show, and so they were playing lots of fun music. And this is when Gangnam Style was really, really popular. So I heard that song for the first time, and I had no idea what I was hearing. I thought it was maybe Indian or something. I had no idea, but I was like, oh, that's a good beat though. And so then I tried to find out, and I found it online, and it was just like, oh, Korean singer. I've never heard of anybody from Korea on the radio. So that was the first time that I had heard much about Korea. Oh yeah, so they were called, I think they were called the Baby Dolls. I don't know if they're really popular or anything, but it was just like, kind of a smaller concert type thing, but they had really cute dance moves, so it made me interested in Korea. You want me just to you want me to mimic it? Oh, well, they did lots of this and like move their hips, and they kind of had short skirts. They made lots of cute motions with their hands and their face. So I had never seen that either before, so that was interesting. Today I will be talking about the most surprising things when I first came to Korea. So the first thing is my first week working here. I saw everybody dressed up really nicely, but then when I looked down to their feet, I saw that they were wearing slippers. So I was shocked, and somebody even had cacao slippers on, so it had a cute bear on there. So I thought that was really kind of bizarre but funny, and it was really kind of cute. And then I also found out too that anytime anybody eats anything, they'll go to the bathroom and start brushing their teeth. So anytime I go in to use the restroom, there's always somebody in there brushing their teeth, and I had never really seen that in the US before. So those were two really shocking things about first seeing. Now I'm also a slipper wearer now. They're so comfortable. It's really nice to take your shoes off. So when I go back to the US, I think everybody in the office will be, oh, that's that strange guy who we just hired from Korea. I'll be walking around the office in slippers all the time now. It kind of makes you less nervous actually, because you see them and you're maybe a little bit intimidated, but then you see they're wearing slippers and it's kind of funny. So it can be helpful to make you not so nervous. Yeah, I've started brushing my teeth now. So I can see why everybody does it. It makes you feel much more fresh for the second half of the day. Yeah, so I'm generally satisfied, and especially because I'm one of the few foreigners on the team, I think maybe I'm treated slightly differently, and people are always very nice to me. So although maybe I feel a little bit taptapada sometimes, because I sometimes miss everything that's going on because everybody's obviously talking in Korean and I don't understand it all the time. But I'm treated well, and I feel like people are really accommodative and making sure that I'm also feeling like I'm fitting in. Yes, my colleagues are all very smart. I can tell they're all very studious people when they were students, because of how they work very diligently, and they're very committed and stay for a very, very long time throughout the day and work many hours a week. And they're also very proud of the work that they do. So I can tell they've been good studiers all their life. So whenever I turn on the TV occasionally and I'll flip through the channels, it seems like every other channel is a home shopping channel. So I was really shocked at how many channels and how that can be profitable, because people just must be sitting at home just buying all the time on home shopping. Yeah, my wife likes to watch those shows, and maybe I've been converted now, because when I'm watching, sometimes I'll turn and say oh, that's a good deal, we should buy that. Yeah, even though I know that that's just a sales trick, I fall for it. I see that Meijin on there, or they're saying, oh, it's almost sold out. My heart starts racing, so I feel like I gotta buy it too, even though I know that they're just doing that to try to sell more. So I don't really typically buy as much as my wife does. She's the one who controls all the purchases for the house. But maybe golf clubs, those are pretty interesting. I like when I see those, and so I'll have to ask my wife, hey, can I get that golf club? Yeah, so the main difference I think is the number of channels. In the US, US, there's like just maybe a couple of them, and they're usually not that popular. They're kind of really high in the channels, but there's so many in Korea, and they seem to be maybe some of the most watched shows. But I think also too on the Korean home shopping, they have really, like younger women to try to make the product even look better. Whereas maybe in the US, they have, I don't know, maybe slightly older women who are doing it. Oh, it's amazing how fast things are delivered in Korea. So I've never seen anything like it really. So I've even ordered something at night and then I've gotten it the next day. So even Amazon, who's known for being like a great company that delivers really quickly, those guys on the little motorbikes here, they beat Amazon. They're so fast. Where I lived, I don't think it was as noisy as the Mamie, but like there were grasshoppers and there's just like different kind of bugs and stuff, especially if you go out like near the farm fields, then you can definitely hear them. Yeah. So the Mamie during the summer are really noisy, and it can be sort of like very disturbing. The first time that I heard them, I had like no idea what's this sound. Like I'm in a fairly big city and I can still sort of hear these things, but yeah, it can be disturbing. So it's almost like a construction site going on outside of your house. Too noisy. I mean, I don't know if this is a sound, but one of the things that's kind of shocking in Korea that maybe you don't see in a lot of other places is when you go into a mart, like, and you're gonna go get some food, especially buy the produce with the fruits and vegetables. Sometimes there's a guy or a woman and they're broadcasting, they got a big speaker, and I'm going up to go get an apple and I have to cover my ear and let's pick up the apple, and I don't even know what deal they're talking about, but it's like, you don't need to be screaming about the produce sale. Please? You mean like bug sounds or something? Like bugs or? Yeah, I mean, I guess it's the same. Like, I don't know all the different sounds of bugs and stuff, but maybe in the US, since there's a lot more space, you can hear a lot of different bird sounds. Maybe while I've been living in Korea, I don't hear as many birds, but in the US, there's all different kinds, and you hear them like owls and red robins and just all sorts of things. Yeah. I mean, I feel like Korea is a really beautiful country. It has lots of mountains, and there's there's Jeju Island. The Han River is really enormous and big, and there's Namisum, and yeah, so there's a lot of different places. I really want to visit more of kind of the coastal area, so maybe I go to Gangneung. One of the first things that you'll notice about Korea is how fast everything moves, and then you'll come to find out that it's baribari 문화, and it's a real thing, and it's everything from the speed of work to the speed of the bus driver to the speed of delivery. Koreans just move super fast. So most bus drivers are good about it, but some bus drivers, maybe they're behind schedule, and you'll tap your card on the reader, and then he'll immediately take off. And so those handles, it's almost like you're having to swing like a monkey. Grab one handle to the next, to the next, to the next, because it's going so fast. And then when you go to sit down in your seat, you just start leaning down and then you just fall back into it. And you're like, oh, okay, good. I made it this time. I didn't fall over. Yeah, so one of the things in Korea is once you have like your payment accounts set up, which that can be kind of tough, payment transfers here are faster than anything I've ever seen. So like I was shocked that, say you go to a restaurant or something, and if you wanted to pay by cash, you can even just give your bank account number and it will immediately transfer. So I've never seen anything like that. At least in the US, sometimes it can take multiple days just to transfer money from an account, but in Korea, it's immediate. So that's really impressive. Yeah, I didn't know that, no. Yeah, that was a shock. One of the shocking things about Korean food, I knew that Koreans had barbecue before I came. That was basically the only thing that I knew, but I didn't realize that not every food, but most foods had this red sauce on it, gochujang. I had no idea about that. And one of the really shocking things is that even in the morning, I see people eating this spicy food, and I'm just an American, so I'm used to maybe like yogurt or like cereal or just something very plain, but here, right away in the morning, get the spicy food, so that was shocking. Yeah, sometimes the spicy food can play with your digestion. Actually, when my brother visited me, I think the second night we had like a big kimchi jjigae, and then by the next morning he was definitely feeling his stomach and was making some visits to the bathroom. So something else that I noticed is that when Koreans travel, they bring with them their sometimes like kimchi in a can or ramen noodle, all that kind of stuff. And I just think it's really funny that when Koreans travel, they bring their food with them. But now that I'm experienced with that spicy kind of that red pepper, maybe when I start traveling, I'll be bringing my noodles too. So in the morning, usually on the weekends, I'll make like an egg scramble or something more typically American, but I'll see my wife and she'll already have some kimchi, and sometimes I've seen her eating like ramen noodle in the morning. So yeah, she's definitely one of those people who eat spicy food in the morning. That was kind of shocking. Yeah, I love spicy food now. When I first came, I actually didn't really like peppers and didn't eat many foods with peppers, but the Korean gochu is, I think, very delicious, and it has more depth to the taste than just spiciness. So it's almost got like an addictive taste. So over the years, I've gotten used to it and sometimes now crave it, especially if I'm stressed. I feel like eating that spicy food, it kind of helps relax myself, yeah. So today we talked about the 5 things that surprised me the most when I first came to Korea. So if you like this segment, give it a thumbs up and subscribe below. 안녕.